Tuesday, NBA, 7 games on. The Suns still stink. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and I might swerve and bend the corner. Whoa! I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Blue Sky at joshlloyd.bsky.social, on Twitter at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code Locked On NBA, and get $20 off your first purchase. Also, I'm ready to receive some double bangs. So if you've got them, I'll take them. Thumbs on the video, listens on the audio, trade deadline thumbs as well. I'll take that. That's a three-way now. I'll take a triple bang if you want to do that. Always going to be receptive. I'm actually not really happy with the way that I introduced the show there. I think I could have hit those notes better. I'm not 100% familiar with the song yet. So I was a little anxious. I'm not sure you could tell I was anxious. Wasn't sure it was going to come out. I didn't full sing it, didn't full give it. I just the whoa. Yeah. Next time I'll do it better. But I'm sure you don't care about that. What you care about is what happened in the NBA on Tuesday, which is, of course, World Typing Day. Clickety clack. We're here to recap Tuesday, January the 7th in the NBA. News. Shout out to Jason Kidd for telling us that, it might be a long time here for Dean Gafford. Might be a while. He's day-to-day apparently, so not going to be a long-term thing. That's okay. We don't have to hold Gafford. He was already reducing his minutes anyway, but so that initial diagnosis from, Dr. Kidd, not on point. Shocking. A couple of absences that I think are important for tomorrow. Big fella Jeremy Sohan is out with a back issue. A little worried. I had him on the Buy Low show because I thought that his production necessitated a buy low tag, and now they've ruled him out again with the back. So that's not great. It does mean that the cost in acquiring at a buy low probably drops, so I do like that part of it. Jeremy Grant's facial contusion continues to give him insane problems. Some might say hella problems. While he is out, we're obviously getting a lot more Denny Avdia. And for those of you in the deeper leagues, Chrissy Murray is maybe someone to care about. Probably not, but maybe. And then we've got in Philadelphia, both Joel Embiid and Paul George are out. No, it's not a back-to-back. They're just both out. Embiid with whatever's going on at the moment and George with groin soreness, I think. So the absolute disaster of a season continues for those guys. And we also got another absence from Asar Thompson with an illness. I don't, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think we've had any full clarification on how long or what's actually going on. And I just hope it's nothing significant like last time where they labeled it an illness, and then it was an illness, I guess, but it wasn't a virus, it wasn't an infectious disease. So I guess they're right that it was an illness. It just was blood clots, unfortunately. And I hope, and I don't think it is, but I hope that's not what is going on here. Let's take a look at some waiver wire trends across the league. Who have been the most added players last 48 hours? Some of them, and you're gonna laugh because the number one most added player is Bryce Sensabaugh. Now, I told you about, and I went into detail about Bryce the other day, talking about how it had been wildly inconsistent, and look at it, maybe stream it, whatever. The value in this is not going to last, and I said there's going to be some duds in it. I had absolutely no idea he'd miss a game due to illness, so people added him and he didn't play at all. That's a kick in the dick, and he can't do much about it. The second most added player is Ryan Dunn, largely scheduled based, plus the starting lineup. I get it. Third most, Nikola Jokic, Little Chungus. We know he's come off the bench the last 2 games. Again, the frustration of Spoelstra's rotations. Raising their head, and then Jaime Jaquez Jr. After a gigantic double overtime triple-double on Monday, people added him, I believe, added him incorrectly. And that is not to say that he shouldn't have been added. The thing is that they added him for the wrong reasons. Well, Butler's gone. It's his time. No, not how it works. He's had plenty of opportunities without Butler all season, done none of it. And of course, if Jimmy Butler is traded, someone's coming back with $50 million in salary. And let's use that example of Bradley Beal for if he comes back. I don't think it will be. But if Bradley Beal comes back, then that position that Jaquez was elevating into because Butler was out is not there anymore. It is gone. Beal just takes over from Butler. And Beal is more available than Butler. So it doesn't actually help Jaime Jaquez at all. Unless they somehow find $50 million of salary that will never play a second for the Heat, it doesn't help at all. Now, while he is suspended, sure, we can take the flyer on it. And while the schedule makes sense, sure. But I think some of the additions of Jaquez are the wrong reasons. Not that it matters. Grayson Allen, fifth most added player. We'll talk about the Suns soon. And Keon Johnson, which is one that I can get behind for the short term because D'Angelo Russell, Cam Thomas, Cam Johnson are all out again. And Ben Simmons has got the old questionable tag for Wednesday's game. The most dropped players, it's a lot of busted up guards. Malcolm Brogdon and Jordan Clarkson at the top of that list. Clarkson's out for at least 2 weeks. John Armstrong has some words.
Get that garbage out of here.
Brogdon missed today. I expect he misses tomorrow. See you later. Tristan Da Silva, well, we know the inconsistency smacked him, and the next game they play is Thursday. And Paulo Banchero dropped an old Instagram post or story saying, come back soon, or ready soon, or basically saying, yeah, we're on here. So I reckon he might be ready on Thursday, Paulo. Nothing official, but that is the date that I've been looking at, and I think it's going to happen, so Da Silva's value is going to get flushed. Dylan Brooks was dropped. Okay, look, they played today. He had some foul trouble in that game. Okay, I get why you would move on from Brooks, but probably wouldn't have done it the day that he was playing. Scoot Henderson, absolutely. We cannot rely upon this whatsoever. And the next one is Andrew Nembhard. And you might want to reconsider adding Andy Nembhard because Tyrese Halliburton's questionable. I think Nembhard is a scheduled level play at the moment, but it might go up significantly if Halliburton is sidelined, which is a possibility. First game. Rockets, Wizards. Shall we go in? We should. Houston was able to roll out the same starting lineup. And how much fluffing should we give Amen Thompson? A lot, I'm guessing. 135-109 is your final score. Houston gets the very comfortable victory on the road against this Washington Wizards team. We'll start with Amen. And if I'm going to be consistent, and I try to be, and criticize Tom Thibodeau for minutes, why is Amen Thompson playing 41 minutes in a game against the Washington Wizards that they won by 26 points? That's ridiculous. Now, you love getting those stats literally right now for fantasy, and he is cooking. He had 20 and 15. He had 5 assists. He had 3 steals. He shot 88 from the field and a perfect 6 of 6 from the line. This man, when that permanent starting spot opens up at some point, this is a locked-in, however long his career is, 10-year top 40 player. And I've said this all along. And we just needed the minutes, and the minutes are here. So Amen is flying. Love it. Fred VanVleet, also a much better game. Now, before I get too excited about VanVleet, look at the opponent. We see this a lot. And then he got hurt towards the end. He had 19 with 12 assists, 4 steals, and a block, which is fantastic. Now, he said that he's good. And we know, guys, we know what to do when a player says they're good. You don't believe them. I don't think there's a problem. There was 3 minutes left. He did ask out of the game, but they were up big. So I don't think there's a problem, but I'm not going to believe Fred VanVleet about there not being a problem. If he is out, Amen Thompson, I'm guessing, will slide to point guard. They could start Aaron Holiday, but I think the most likely thing was this Jeff Green would slide back in at the 4, and that would mean more minutes for Cam Whitmore, and it would be a mishmash of garbage. Sorry, Cam, but like of those sort of guys, like a Tate and Holiday and Whitmore and maybe Reed Shepherd, even though he's down in the G League. As for Jalen Green, he started out this game really poorly and then absolutely flew down the stretch. 29 and 8 with 7 triples despite having a knee issue. Took 22 shots as well, which seems a lot. And Şengün, who was featured on the Buy Low show today, did the Buy Low bump kick in immediately? Yeah, basically, again, Wizards though. 26, 10 and 6, 2 steals on 52% for Şengün. Cam Whitmore did the thing, and he might have seasons where he does this a lot more, where he gets like basically a point a minute. 17 points in 18 minutes with 3 threes. The problem is, there's nothing else. He had 1 rebound and 1 steal, and he shot 75%. Now, if VanVleet misses, I would be more interested in adding Whitmore. Otherwise, not really. What else was in this one? Dylan Brooks had real foul trouble early on. He only played 18 minutes. The line's actually not terrible. 11 points with 3 threes, but he just remains that streaming level player. Probably some more interesting things on the Wizards, although I'm not really sure. I said 135-109, by the way. It was 135-112, the final score. Probably, yeah, some interesting things on the Wizards, but I don't really know how to all sort of dive into this stuff because there was no Welker Brogdon again, so Bilal Coulibaly returned. Keyshawn George replaced Justin Champagny for no particular reason, but then in this game, Kyle Kuzma had a calf contusion. They ruled him out for the game, And then 10 minutes later, they dropped a super hot fire psych, that's the wrong number on us, and said that he's questionable to return. And then he didn't return anyway. So this is what I mean. Like, I don't know if Brogdon's going to play or not tomorrow. I don't know if Poole's going to play tomorrow or not. I don't know what the hell happened with Kuzma. And they are three absolutely gigantic pieces in trying to determine the value of the other guys on this squad. So we'll do our best, and it will probably come up short because we are working with the information that we have. The guy that did pop off in this game was Corey Kispert. 33 minutes for the 33-year-old. He had 23 points with 5 threes on 70% shooting. But there's the thing, isn't it? 70% shooting. He's not going to do this every game. The opportunities were there with no Poole, no Brogdon, no John Davis, of course, and no Kuzma. But he is just a points and threes stream guy. Keyshawn George was okay. He had 2 steals and a block, but that's deeper league stuff. While Champagny got the start in the second half and didn't really do much. And I think he is settling into the player that he is. He's a two-way contract player who had a couple of really big games. He is not that good. He is okay to stream in if Kuzma, Poole, Brogdon all miss tomorrow, but long-term I do not see it. As for Bilal, it was very mid, 12-5-1 with no defensive stats. Whatever. He's back and he's ready to go, and that's good. And Bub Carrington was solid again. He's not blowing us away, but 12-4-5 on 50% shooting is pretty good. Now that's important because he was terrible earlier on in the season, and it is obviously helpful that Brogdon and Poole are out, but he's playing better in himself. I still don't think that it's a must-roster scenario for Carrington, but it's getting a little bit closer. Absolute turd burger of a game from Alex R. 2 points on 8%. Yes, that is a single digit. 8% shooting. He did have a steal and a block with 9 rebounds. Please don't drop him after this. While Kuzma had 10, 6, and 2, which was very Kyle Kuzma. He also shot 25% from the line, but he had 31 usage before he went out for an injury, and I just cannot... This guy and Jeremy Grant just need to go into the bushes and like... I was going to say a rude word, but I don't think I can say it, but that's what they need to do. Just spend your time doing that, guys. There's nothing more that we need from you on the basketball court. Just enjoy the pleasures of nature. What are you doing ruining everything? You are the worst players to watch. You're the worst for development. Get out of these teams. And of course they won't, because why would they? They're getting paid $30 million or whatever their contracts are. Every time Kuzma goes down, you should be like, man, I hope he's okay. Great. Now let's find out who's going to be better for fantasy and how the team looks. Now, of course, if you've got Kuzma, you don't like that idea. And I do have Kuzma in the league, and I hate that I do. I thought he'd actually be able to be a bit more consistent this season because he was not bad at times last season. He just sucks now. Well, no, that's not true. He just sucks. He sucked last year too. He just sucks in different ways now. What we did get, though, with Brogdon and Poole out is the big fella Jared Butler continues to play well, and this man is just a good player. The problem is there's just no real path to consistent minutes. 14 points for Butler with 4 assists, a steal, and a block, which is fine. It's good. It's solid. It's useful. But it needs very specific requirements to occur to get us there. And I'm sure you're all aware of having very specific requirements needed to get you there. We're going to talk about the rest of the games. Yeah, we are. We'll do it real soon. But today's episode, it is brought to you by the big fellas over at Ultimate College Basketball HC. It's a brand new mobile game. And you know, you love managing teams and rosters and feeling that you're a big shot coach. Well, that's what Ultimate College Basketball HC does. You can control every detail of your program, recruiting players, hiring coaching staff, overseeing training camps, handling NIL deals, managing scholarships, abusing staff and donors. That last part's not there, but everything else is all in your hands. So when you get to game time as well, you can draw up plays. You can set your strategy. You could do everything that a college coach would do minus the abuse in the game. So go ahead and get this game because there's a great new boost offer that we've got as well for Locked On listeners. It is the code Locked On CBB, all in caps, and you use that in the game so you get a free boost for your program to kickstart your legacy. Download Ultimate College Basketball HC. Visit ultimate-cbb.com or look it up on the app stores. That is Ultimate College Basketball HC. Begin your coaching legacy today. All right, let's do the next game of the day, and yeah, Phoenix, Charlotte, the Suns with their revamped lineup, fresh off a reinvigorating win over the 76ers without Joel Embiid. They go in for, to really show that this lineup means business and how good it is with the absolutely zero spacing, and they take on the Charlotte Hornets, and they lose 115-104 because that lineup change didn't make sense, doesn't make sense. And I tell you what I also feel with this team, and this is maybe I am wrong on this. I could be. I feel like they brought in Mike Budenholzer and go, Bud, we've loved what you've done. You've been great in Phoenix. You've been great in Atlanta. We loved it. It was fantastic. You took the Bucks to a championship with so much pressure. It's fantastic. Can you just do things differently to how you've always done it, though? That's how it feels. It's like letting him do Bud stuff. Nah. Can you just come and stand there and we'll just do the same shit that we always do? That is how fit. Our Phoenix Suns fans, if you want to chime in, it is slightly different, I know, from what Frank Vogel last season. But it's not Bud. It's not Bud ball. It's just, it feels weird. It's like he hasn't been allowed to be Bud. Let's talk about the guy that was on the buy low show today, though, Devin Booker. Did he get a buy low bump? Yeah, a little bit. 39, 6 and 10, 9 of 9 from the line, 56 from the field. Thank you. Kevin Durant was fine. I don't think we've really mentioned Kevin Durant much this season on the show. He's been pretty good. 26, 6, couple of injuries. Not today, though. 36 minutes, again, just way too many. 9 of 10 from the line, but they lost. So let's talk about what they did in terms of the adjustments to the lineup. Mason Plumlee started. Also, by the way, he's bad. I don't know why you would consider him being the option to start. He is bad, and he remains bad. He played 20 minutes and went scoreless. He had 13 rebounds, so I guess that's something, and he missed his only shot. But we don't care about that. And now, 2 games are done. They have 3 games in the remaining 5 nights of the week, which is about the same as I think there's 12 or so teams or 10 or so teams that have got 3 more games this week. So that 5-game week, now that 2 games are down, is done. That doesn't mean drop these players necessarily, but what it does mean is that when you're evaluating the rest of the week for the Suns guys, if you are switching them out for somebody else, it might be in your best interest because, you usually don't want to swap a 3-game player for a 3-game player, right? You don't usually want to do that. But if the 3-game player that's left, Mason Plumlee, is bad, and the guy that's on your waiver wire who's a 3-game player, he's also bad, but Kelly Oubre, Andrew Nembhard, these sort of guys, then the boost that you get there is probably worth it. As for Nurk, he played 19 minutes as well. He had 8 points, 2 threes, 1 steal, 1 block. We are dropping Nurk because he was a minus 22 in this game and Plumlee was a plus 15. But I still believe that Nurkic is a significantly better player than Mason Plumlee. We have to be very, 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 very worried. Well, I say we, not me. I don't roster Tyus Jones anywhere, but if you do, be very worried. Because that is 2 games in a row. That wasn't a fluke last game. 2 games in a row, 22 minutes for him, 4, 1, and 4. They are leaning into Devin Booker as a point guard. And by the way, I think Booker's now had 9, 10 assists in his last 4 games. Devin Booker is back to being the point guard. Tyus Jones is a reserve who starts. I would not drop just yet. Again, the 3 games this week is still somewhat useful. But I think he might be done. Because Tyus Jones is a guy that plays well as a backup. And when he is a starter, you look at him and go, probably need a different point guard. That's who I think he is. That's not to say he is bad. But he is not a high-level point guard. He's not a high-level starter. And the Suns have made the switch. So be very concerned. Grayson Allen played 14 minutes yesterday, and it looked like a terrible decision to have streamed him in. Today, much better. 9 points, 3 threes. That is not a good game. Do not get that twisted at all. But he played 25 minutes, and that's encouraging. So I think I would probably give it a real soft hold just because of the week. And then Ryan Dunn had a block. He had 6 points in 25 minutes, and the literal only reason that you would roster Ryan Dunn in a 10 or 12-team league is because of the schedule this week. He is not going to be a 12-team league guy. I am very confident in that. And I don't look at him as a long-term guy at all. As for Beal, that's yuck. 10, 0, and 5, and shot 39% and played 31 minutes. He isn't a drop yet, but it's moving there. It is moving there. It is moving there. Ossie Iguodala, I think, played 22 minutes last game, and he played 5 here. So, yeah, I thought he might have a shot at some minutes, but guess not. Guess not. The Hornets, though, they win. 115-104. LaMelo Ball, 32 and 10, 7 assists, 4 steals, 5 threes, big volume, bad percentages. Great game, though. Love it. Miles Bridges, we wanted to see this. I wanted to see him put up the big one with Miller and Ball there, and he did. 37 minutes, 21 and 7, 2 steals, 2 threes. Absolutely fantastic performance from him. Love to see it. Love to see it. Interesting stuff at center. Mark Williams played 22 minutes. He had 9 and 10. He shot only 29%. It wasn't a very good game for him. He wasn't in foul trouble. He just didn't play very well. So they went back to BDNR Nick Richards. Do not use this as an excuse to add Nick Richards. He had 15 and 12 with 3 blocks. Unequivocally an awesome game. And I don't think this now means they'll be back to a minute split. But it did happen. Brandon Miller, yeah, that's not very good. Miller, I would say, correct me if I'm wrong about your opinion, I would say he's been a disappointment this season. He's had some decent moments, but it does feel that Miller needs to be a guy that puts up big numbers when the team is bad and other good players aren't around. And that's fine for now. But I don't know. He's not quite doing it for me. 13-3, steal, block, 31%. It's fine. We're still holding him, obviously. What else? Josh Green played only 13 minutes and Cody Martin got the numbers. 4-5-3, 1 steal, 1 block. He is a very useful stream guy when you're looking for the slight rebound, slight assist, steal, and block. Probably more 14 than 12, but it's there. And then Nick Smith got 21 minutes. Just, again, a name to watch. In the double Onyxes, you've already drafted him, I'm sure. But if you're a step below that, just keep an eye on Nick Smith Jr. for some of the deeper leagues because Charles Lee keeps talking him up and there's an opportunity for him to maybe play a little bit more as we move forward into fake injury season later on. Today's episode is also brought to you by the legends over at Game Time. You want to go and see live events? I know you do. Is that music? Is it theater? Is it comedy? Is it sports? It could be any of those things. And Game Time enables you to create those lasting memories by taking out the annoyance, the hassle of buying the tickets to go and see these events. Game Time Picks features out all the fluff to show you only incredible deals on the great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. When you're in there, Game Time Picks just shows you the good options, plus the views from your seat, plus all of the in-app the app's all-in pricing, which shows you the full cost of the ticket. So when you go to checkout, you're not surprised by the additional fees that might get added. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets on Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. All right, let's do the next one. The Lakers and the Mavs. That's a terrible loss for the Lakers, honestly. Now, they're not a good team, so you don't expect them to always be pulling out good wins, but this is a shell of a Mavericks team, and they lose by 20. 118-97 your final score. The Lakers go in with the same starting lineup, 18, 10, and 8 for LeBron. Just a low-volume game, though, for LeBron, but otherwise good numbers, and Davis had 21 and 12 with 2 blocks. And after that, it was disappointing. Austin Reeves has obviously been playing ridiculously well. He did not play as well here. 15 points with 4 threes and 3 steals, but only 1 assist and shot poorly from the field in the line, which is not great. And Max Christie continues to do enough to sort of poke around the edges when you go, should I add him? And I think you're going to put him very clearly or very cleanly into the Jaden McDaniels, Patrick Williams, Andrew Nembhard wing of elite stream guys. That's sort of where he sits. 14-team league guy, Maxey. Dorian Finney-Smith played 28 minutes for 11 points and 3 threes. Do you want me to do the other joke? It's not even a joke. Can you stop rostering Rui Hachimura?
Get that garbage out of here.
26 minutes, 6 points, 1 rebound. What are you clinging onto? What are you seeing? He is bad. He has always been bad. And now he is getting played down by Dorian Finney-Smith. Please, move on. Dalton Connect had 13 points and 2 threes, another guy that's incredibly over-rostered in 12-team leagues. Neither Rui, nor Dorian, nor Dalton are 12-team league guys. They're barely 14-team league guys, honestly. They're just not. This team is struggling. They struggled here in a huge way. There is a report that Jared Vanderbilt might be, or he's doing some work with the G League team. Not a report, I believe. Did JJ Redick say it, or was it Rob Pelinka? Someone just said it outright. That he's working out with the G League team this week. So about a week more, but we don't care for fantasy. It's just another reason that Rui Hachimura is going to be useless. Sorry, more useless. Let's look at the Dallas side of things because they trotted out an incredibly bizarre lineup yesterday that, of course, didn't allow them to win because they decided we're just going with all forwards and no one who can dribble, and it didn't work out, so they changed it up. Maxi Kleber went to the bench and Spencer Dinwiddie moved into the starting lineup. And what happened? Dinwiddie played 35 minutes. He had 19, 6, and 8 on 53% shooting. Fantastic. Thank you, Spencer. Yes, I would be rostering Spencer Dinwiddie. And you know what else happened? Quentin Grimes cooked. 29 minutes off the bench, 23, 9, and 6 with 6 threes. Both of these guys are 12-team league guys. The exact same analysis we had as soon as we heard the Kyrie Irving injury news. Luka, Kyrie out. You want both of these guys on your team, even though you got dicked on it yesterday. Paul Washington had 22 and 8, which you love to see, but when you see that he shot 64%, you know, oh no, 20% is coming in the next one. Maybe, possibly, potentially. Derek Lively had extreme foul trouble. He only played 19 minutes in this game. He had 7 and 6 on 3 shots only, but the foul trouble limited him. And I've done it before, marginally seriously, but not 100% there. But he's actually washed Klay Thompson. 13 points, 29 minutes, 0 rebounds, 3 threes. Klay and Luka are out. Nothing's even changing. It's just the same stuff from him. I think we're in a spot here where he's just not even worth rostering in 10-team leagues or 12-team leagues, even when they're out. Najee Marshall was pretty good yesterday. He shot 18% here and had 7, 5, and 2 with a steal. If you added Najee, the fact that he put up such a bad line today shouldn't change your mind. Because 18%, as we know, is not a real number. He will not continue to be a 7% shooter. So we can do the thing on Najee where we look at the numbers and go, okay, what makes sense? 2 of 11, horrid. 5 of 11, 3 more shots, include one of those as a 3, 7 points. Yeah, 14, 5, and 2 with a steal, and you love it. You're full Dutch ruddering that. That's a very solid game. So while it is a bad performance, and he's not a very good shooter, and I would still have Dinwiddie and Grimes probably ahead of him, if you added Marshall, be annoyed, don't be reactive. That game is it's an annoying thing that happens in fantasy, and it's okay. Jaden Hardy's providing nice deep league value, 15 points with 3 threes on 55%. It's probably just a points stream in like 12-teamers, but if I'm looking in 16-teamers, absolutely I'm going that way. But that's probably about it, I would say. All right, the next game, the Minnesota Timberwolves go in and take on the New Orleans Pelicans. They get a win. 104-97 is your final score here. Let's start with the Minnesota side of things. It was the second game for Dante DiVincenzo starting. He still can't really shoot at all, but he had 10 points with 2 threes, 7 assists, and 3 steals, and remains an absolute must roster. I know you'll be inclined to drop because the shooting is off. Don't worry about it. I'm assuming there'll be a better stretch here, but he got 7 assists. He played 29 minutes, and he got 3 steals. And I'm not the biggest Big Ragu guy, but this is a very clear hold spot here. Goose Edwards, we had him on the Bilo show a while ago. A week ago, 2 weeks ago, 32 and 9 for him, 7 threes, 2 steals, big volume, looking better, looking much, much better. And what else we got? Rudy Gobert, 7 and 14 with 6 blocks. He had a real down stretch, and now he is starting to put together some very, very good numbers. Julius Randle bounced back after a terrible game last time out, 16 and 6 with 2 steals, while Naz Reid had 13 and 12 in 23 minutes. So they went back to Randle. Now, Reid was very, very much better than Randle last game, and I thought there was a chance they might actually just make a switch up and put Reid over him. Didn't happen. Maybe doesn't happen. Maybe very possible I was just wrong on sort of getting that vibe from the team. That's okay. We get things wrong all the time, but we're still holding Reid just for now, 13 and 12, while McDaniels put himself very much in that spot again. 5 points. 3 rebounds. He did have 2 steals and a block, but you know what he is. You don't roster him. You stream him. That's it. Mike Conley, he looks better in this bench role. 25 minutes for him. 8, 4, and 6. He just is now positioning himself to be an elite 12-team stream guy when he's in a schedule plus position. You add him in, you get some assists out of it. Maybe you get a good scoring night. He looks more comfortable at the moment than he was looking earlier on. They've also reduced Nickeil Alexander-Walker's role down quite a bit, and he's been pretty good. So I'm not really sure why they thought that was the answer, but whatever. They got the win, so I'm not going to criticize that too much. On the Pelicans side, though, there was a lot of doom and gloom about Zion Williamson, about he was never going to play a game for the Pelicans ever again. Well, he did. He had 22, 6, and 4, 3 steals and a block, and he was terrible from the line, but he played 28 minutes, and we're back. For how long, I've got no idea. Pretty sure he won't play tomorrow, but he's back. He looked like Zion, basically. And I hope we get a healthy run of things, because he's bloody electric. It was also, finally, unbelievably, a good game from DeJounte Murray, except for one thing. 29, 2 and 6 with 2 threes in 34 minutes is great. 60% shooting. Oh my God, I'm ready to go. But he went 3 of 6 from the line. Bro, why? But anyway, good game overall. There was no Ken Murphy in this one. He's who gave way for Zion. And we got a little bit of a troubling situation, I guess. Well, that sounds like way more than it is. But you know that I've been cautioning about the Yves Missi scenario, about what happens when players return, and I don't know that he's going to play enough. Well, Zion came back, and I absolutely hate the fit of Zion and Missi together. I hate it. For as good of the signs that Missi has shown together, it is an insane pairing unless you're not planning on Zion being there. Messi played only 28 minutes. He had 2 points. Now, he shot 14%, so I don't think that's a real thing. He had 9 rebounds and a block, but the worry is going to be now, like, if Trey, probably not tomorrow, we won't judge, but maybe the next game after that, if Trey and Zion are both there, what's Messi's role? Because how do they all play enough? That's always been my concern with that. Alvarado was solid, 13 points and 3 threes. Herb Jones had 10, 6, and 5, but no defense. And anytime Herb gets no defense, he's really not doing enough. The 5 assists are nice. We still keep rostering him. And then Jeremiah Robinson-Earl stepped up with Murphy out. He had a 111. He had 8 rebounds, and I think we just don't care. But we talked about Devin Booker getting the gigantic buy low bump. Have you ever seen a sell high slump hit like this? Because CJ McCollum shot 7%, and that was not a misspeak from me. 7. That's the number less than 8. 7. 7.1 to be exact. 5 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block. So I'm very, very sorry that your sell high window, I hope you got all appendages out of the way because that slammed incredibly quickly. Bye, Siege. Not bye. I'm not telling you to drop him, but yeah. See ya. BJ, 5 points in 25 minutes for Boston. He did get a little bit of extra playing time with Murphy out, but it didn't really amount to a huge amount. He shot 17%. It's still just a deeper league position. While Jordan Hawkins, the Namur legend, is actually Namur, 10 points or 10 minutes for him, 3 points. He's also an older second-year player. He's not super old, but I believe he was 21 when he was drafted. And I think he's just bad. Like I think he just actually might be bad and might always be bad. He's bad. Like don't need to extrapolate that. He's bad. And he's getting outplayed by BJ Boston and, losing a role here. Which should be concerning. It should be concerning. All right, the next game, the Atlanta Hawks and the Utah Jazz. What a crazy way to end this game as Rayford Young just bombs a casual half-court shot to win the game. Trey was already putting together a ridiculous line before that. In fact, let's just go through what he did now. They won at 124-121. Young ended up with 24 points and 20 assists. He blocked a shot also, hit 3 threes, including that game winner, played 37 minutes, 38% shooting, 9 of 10 from the line. Trey has been pretty good. Pretty good. I know there's been disappointments at times with him, but I think overall it's been a pretty good year. It's also a really, really good game from Dyson Daniels. He gave us the Richie Beno, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and 2 threes. He had 16, 6, and 7. Another ridiculously good game. Clint Capella also finally had a good game. 18 and 6 with 3 blocks on 82%. Now, I still don't think the Capella's a must-roster player, but that's a good game. It was also a good game from Onyeka Okongwu, which makes me think that when you play the Jazz, maybe you can do some good things. Okongwu only had 9 points, but he had 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and 4 blocks. And I think both guys remain totally okay to roster and totally okay not to. The biggest, I don't give an actual what you do with these players. Like, that is fine. Neither guy is establishing himself, is doing more, and that's fine. Ricochet is also someone that you look at as a 14-team league player, 14 and 6, while DeAndre Hunter, he's DeAndre Hunter. Because, like I have said all along with DeAndre Hunter, when the shot doesn't go in at 1,000,000%, there's nothing else there. 17, 4, and 1. He shot 46% from the field. He was bad at the line. He still hit 57% of his threes, of course he did. But like it has fallen off. He is now outside the top 100 over the last 2 weeks, and 196th over his last 5 games. He's not that good. It was a very nice hot streak. He deserves to still be rostered, but he's not that good. Bogdanovic played the most minutes he's seen for a while, 11, 1, and 3, but we're looking at him as more of a 14-team league player, I think, and it was Vic Krejci who started again with Jalen Johnson out, 13 and 4. Fine for deeper leagues, but it doesn't really matter because as long as Johnson is playing, which he's not at the moment, obviously, Krejci won't be useful. On the other side of things, Lauri Markkanen did return for the Jazz. There was still no Clarkson, still no Keontae George, and still no John Collins. Markkanen returned, and that meant that Michael Potter moved to the bench. And Lowry put up the biggest sell-high game I've ever seen. Let's do it. 35 points, 8 threes, 2 steals, 1 block. Get rid of this man immediately. Any top 50 player, if you can do it. If not, hope he does it 2 in a row, and then move on. We needed a big one, though. That's what she said. Walker Kessler had 21 and 10 with 3 blocks. Very strong game. Hit his free throws. Love what we're getting from him at the moment. And then Patty Mills decided I'm going to come out and chuck shots. Thanks, Pat. 13 points, 3 threes, and 3 steals. He took 14 shots in only 18 minutes. That is a usage of 30%. I don't think we need to care that much about Patty, unfortunately for you, Pat. Fantastic, but whatever. Isaiah Collier still might be the worst player in the NBA, but 6 rebounds. Oh, David Roddy's actually got that on lock. 6 rebounds and 9 assists. He did shoot 17%. Collier. The assists are intriguing, but of course it's with Keontae George out, so I don't think we need to worry too much there. While Kyle Filipowski played 29 minutes last game, instead it was Cody Williams playing 29 here. Williams, of course, predictably did nothing. He had 4 points on 17%, while Filipowski had 8 rebounds and shot 20%, and we are only looking at these guys as deeper league players. My Colin Sexton, I don't know what to do situation continues. 24, 4 and 3, 31 minutes. Great from the line, shit from the field. And Collins, George, and have to return. Sensible was out in this one again, like we talked about earlier in the show. He was a hot pickup for many. He should not be necessarily considered a must-roster player at all because he's Bryce Sensible and he's sick. And you might have Collins, George, or both return, not like Clarkson. Collins, George might be back next game and Sensible plays 12 minutes and does nothing. Yes, he can be a good shooter. Yes, he can be a volume scorer. But it's not reliable enough for me to get any level of excited about it. But overall, yeah, the Jazz, plucky. They'd won 2 in a row before this game. And the Hawks get the old big W in the end. All right, the Miami Heat on the back-to-back take on the Golden State Warriors in the Bay Area, San Francisco, and they win easy. 114-98, the final score. The Heat rolled out the same starting lineup again after that double overtime game yesterday. Bam Adebayo, much better game. Easy, 64% shooting. 19, 9 and 5, 2 steals and a block. We love to see it. Tyler Hero, only 26 minutes in this game. Spo was going pretty easy on the minutes after they all played a million minutes yesterday. So he had 14, 8 and 3. Jaime Jaquez, who had that triple-double yesterday with a million steals, had no steals, but he did have 18 and 5. And like I detailed earlier in the show, it's fine if you want to use him, but I still do not see any way that he is a full-time 12-team league guy rest of season, because if Jimmy Butler is traded, somebody is returning. And somebody is going to be making a lot of money. And they are going to jump into Jaquez's role, which is not even secure as it is. So again, use him today, it was fine. Long term, don't think so. We got 18 Superman minutes, 6 and 4 for Khalil Ware, and again, it is very, absolutely very crystal clear that you don't roster him in 12-team leagues. He is Bam Adebayo's backup. 18 minutes for Ware, 30 minutes for Bam. I will stop saying that now because I think the point has been jammed into your heads. Probably annoyingly so. Good game from the Little Chungus. 34 minutes from Nikola Jokic. 20 and 6 with 4 assists. Really good stuff. Yesterday, he barely played. It is the Spoelstra roundabouts. It's him. It's Highsmith. It's Rozier, who stunk. Although he still played 32 minutes, Terry. And I would still probably hold him. And Jokic I would have over Highsmith. But you can't really figure out what's going to happen. Because in this game, Alec Burks played 25 minutes. He had 11 and 4 with 3 threes. Is that because it was a Spoelstra randomization game? Is it because there was double overtime yesterday? Or is it because this is just what is going to happen as we move forward? Probably the second one. It was also a better game from Duncan Robinson. And when you get a game with 8 assists from Duncan Robinson, you might as well throw your hands up in the air and go, well, I don't know what to do anymore. And that's how you should view it. Bam, Hero, we're rostering. 12-teamers, easy. Rozier, probably. Jovic, 14 teams, definitely. Jaquez, short-term in 12s, maybe. I still don't love it long-term, though. And that's probably about where we sit. What about this other annoying team, the Golden State Warriors, who are just absolutely... These teams who started out the season hot, them and Phoenix, it is... It's not going great for them, is it? The Warriors were able to roll out the same starting lineup that they had in all these other games, and what we really wanted to see was what would happen with Trace Jackson-Davis, because last time out he played 17 minutes, and this one he played 35. Okay, what? 19 and 7 with 2 steals and a block. Now, I posited when the John Kuminga injury came out that it would probably mean better things for Jackson-Davis. And the first game after Kuminga got hurt, he played 17 minutes. But obviously, this is ridiculous, and you roster Trace Jackson-Davis everywhere. Do I trust it? Absolutely not. Nor do I trust the fact that Kyle Anderson played 27 minutes. Okay, cool. Anderson had a line which is actually useful. 5, 7, and 4, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Shot 29% though. Don't care. Not using it. That's not true, actually. Deeper leagues, and we talked about this on the preview show yesterday, the deeper leagues, you want to look at Anderson because of the absence of Kuminga, but that's about it. Dennis Schroeder continues to be just absolutely putrid.
Get that garbage out of here.
He did have 7 assists, but shot 20%, had 5 points, and it is very, very clear that you don't roster him in 12s at this stage. Bud Hield, a slightly better game, 11, 8, and 5, and no, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. He had 2 threes. Podziemski and Payton could return on this road trip. We're not doing it with Bud. Don't. Steph had 31 and 7 with 8 assists and 2 blocks, so a good game from him. While Hall Pass legend Lindy Waters had 6 points, and Moses Moody, who'd been playing well, had 3 points in 15 minutes, so another stinker in terms of just the predictability of the rotation from the Golden State Warriors. But we love to see that from Jackson Davis. We love to get the confirmation that we're dropping Schroeder. Wiggins didn't do anything at all, but we're still holding him in his 25 minutes. Draymond had 7, 10, and 10, and yeah, that's sort of, I guess, I think that's probably where we end up sitting with that one. Now we can do the final game of the night. Denver hosts Boston. Both teams with our key players, one of them just without the best player in the world, and that is the Nuggets, of course. The Celtics, though, no Derek White. He was ill, so Big Al Horford rejoined the starting lineup, and they win at 118-106. Let's start with Horford, who had 9 points. He had 4 steals, which is great, but now the Celtics embark on a 2-game in 7-night stretch, so you very easily move on from him. 25 and 11 for Porzingis, 19, 3 and 7, 2 steals and a block for Drew, who is rolling at the moment, which is great. And Tatum had 29, 4 and 6 and 2 blocks. Another stinker for Peyton Pritchard. 3 points, 4 assists, 20 minutes. There's a couple of ways to look at this, right? Is he struggling? I've had him projected. Now, I was massively off on Pritchard to begin the season. I didn't have him as a 12-team league player, and he has been. I didn't think that would be possible, and it has been. When I made all of my adjustments to my projections, and I do it multiple times, I do it all the time, he's sitting around 120th, which is sort of 12-team, but not really. And I keep looking at it, and I kept looking at it and go, that doesn't make sense. This guy's cooking. And people pointed it out and go, that seems wrong, right? But at the moment, we are seeing why I had him there. That it was relying upon extraordinarily high shooting, and when it doesn't go in, Sneaky Joe just says, no thanks, Peyton. You take a seat. There are 2 ways of looking at this next period of time for Pritchard. Is that you've got 2 games in 7 nights, so wow. The Celtics don't really play, so if I drop Pritchard, I could actually get more games in and benefit my team. True. The other way you could look at it is you can look at it and say, well, if Pritchard's in a slump, with only 2 games over 7 nights, maybe that gives him some time to get things right, and I don't cost myself with multiple bad games. I actually think the first way is probably a better way of looking at it, but I don't think you should drop Pritchard. Slumps and fixing them and getting out of them is not necessarily, well, you've got to wait a certain amount of time for that to happen. So that's why that second method of viewing that, I don't think really works. But if you wanted to view it that way, that would be your way to justify your actions. He will be better than this Pritchard, but is he good enough over the remaining 10 weeks of the season to hold? If you had to put a gun to my head, and if you did, can you just make it quick? I don't want to deal with the nonsense. Just finish it off. I don't even make me answer the question. Just pull it, man. But otherwise, I would say drop him. If I had to give an answer. Because I just don't know that the value is high enough to justify the nonsense like now, a bad schedule, bad performances. If I had to. But I don't. So good. Not much else there. Yeah, the other one. Jaylen Brown, just weird. 8 assists is great, but no defensive stats, no threes, 14 points, 20 usage. Just a weird game. On to the Denver side. Because there was no Big Chungus, Nikola Jokic, they decided to bring out, and Michael Malone, you do the thing that I love. I love when coaches do this. Dario Saric, you are not good enough to touch the court ever. You disgust me. How bad you are. I cannot even play you. By the way, you're starting today. Sick. That was great, Michael, as Saric started, had 0 points in 17 minutes, had 4 assists, and went as predictably shithouse as you could have expected. What do they think is going to happen, these coaches? Oh, Dario, you better start, mate. That's right. I remember now why I didn't play you. You're bad. Oh, well. I guess we'll try it again next time. See you next time Jokic misses. Good deal, Malone. What are we doing? Anyway, they were able to go a little bit small at periods this time. I'm not here to tell you that DeAndre Jordan's good. He's not. But he had 1.5 rebounds in his 20 minutes. And the Nuggets, as I play this on a record, repeating moment, they're got a backup center problem. Now, Aaron Gordon will fill that role when he returns, but he's not there. Daron Holmes will hopefully fill it in the future, but he's also not there. Rusty Westbrook had 36, 9, and 6 and remains a 12-team league guy, and his resurgence has been ridiculously good. And the headmaster had 19, 4, and 4. But what about the game from Peyton Watson? 14 points, 2 threes, 4 block skis. Now, We know that Gordon is out. We know that Jokic was out, but you might not necessarily associate those two things. Watson was great here. Will you chase this game? Will you add him and see what you can get tomorrow? Because they play tomorrow, and I don't think Gordon plays, and Jokic, I'm going to be pretty surprised if he plays. Because that, I think, is the only way you can have that level of confidence in Watson. He had to play some 5. He did really well. But we don't believe that he's a long-term guy here at all. At all. I like him a lot. And if he was a full-time 30-minute a night starter, I would say he's a hold. But this is a weird game. Christian Brown, another sort of mid-performance. It's not terrible. But he had 12 and 4, 2 threes and a steal. And he is, much like Peyton Pritchard, trending towards being a drop. Brown is totally okay to hold. But if I'm in a 10-teamer, I'm not sure that I'd bother with that. I don't think I need to hold him in a 10-team league, Christian Brown. And if I'm in a points league, well, in a 12, you drop him into points as well. Porter had 15 and 10. Good for him. And not much else. That's not true. 27 minutes from Julian Stroud. That's noteworthy. 19 points, 3 threes. He remains a terrible defender. But of course, the extra shots, the extra minutes come because Gordon and Jokic were both out. And that is just not a thing that is going to be the case all the way through. All right. Let's dish out some awards. Who's our monstrous? The best performance of the day from a category perspective is Devin Booker. 39 points, 6 rebounds, and 10 assists for Booker. It was a really strong game for him. The waiver wire line of the night goes to a player that's available, obviously, in 60% plus of leagues. It's Quentin Grimes. You just got to roster him. 23, 9, and 6. I think so. I think anyway. 23, 9, and 6. The young gun of the night, it's Amen Thompson. He almost won the monstrous. He was that good. 20 and 15 with 3 steals on elite percentages, Amen Thompson, and then the dud of the night. We had a few guys up for this one, but we have to go to the president himself. Christian James McCullum, 5 points, 2 rebounds, and 7% shooting. That's dreadful. I don't have any graphics put up for the top 6 players of the day, so I'll just tell you who it is. It's Devin Booker, it's Amen Thompson, DeJounte Murray, LaMelo Ball, Fred VanVleet, and Lauri Markkanen for category leagues. In your top waiver wire guys, we're going with Quentin Grimes, Peyton Watson, Al Horford, Corey Kispert, Spencer Dinwiddie, Duncan Robinson. What I will finish off the show by doing is just showing you a couple of the injury scenarios that did happen with players leaving the game early. Just a couple of those to talk about today. Kyle Kuzma with the calf contusion where he was ruled out and then he was questionable and then he didn't come back anyway. Keyshawn George, Justin Champagnie will be the guys there. Corey Kispert maybe, but those other guys have more well-rounded games. And then Fred VanVleet hurt his knee, didn't return, said he's okay, so we'll see. Cam Whitmore and Aaron Holiday will be the bigger beneficiaries in that position if Fred is out, and I don't think he will be. But that, guys, is the end of World Typing Day. It is the end of the recap from Tuesday's action across the NBA, but it's not the end of your watch. You can't put yourself out to pasture just yet because you've got a thumb to give. You've got a double bang to do. You've got comments to leave, and you've got the most important thing of all to do, and that's to do something that makes yourself proud. Pride is a hard thing to do. I don't have any pride at all, but I have to force myself sometimes to sit back and go, that was good. I'm not proud at all. But in order to help you do other things in your life, improve, be better in general, it's so key to just acknowledge, because then it enables other things to cascade. Great word. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Toodles.